Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Bunnysays. I'd like to welcome you back for another edition of Sherlock Holmes vs. Jack the Ripper. Now it's been a little while. Let's resume where we were last. Let's say, oop. Sorry, whenever I see Watson sitting there and staring at me, it just looks so funny.
Pray, let us find the entrance in which the piece of the victim's apron and the mysterious chalk message were found.
Okay. Let's see what this is.
Look at these signs, Watson. We are in the Jewish High Street.
Okay. What is... Oh, okay.
Look at these signs, Watson. We are in the Jewish High Street.
Okay. Okay. Ooh. Watson's here. He's running around me. I remember we just... Really? Okay. Well, I didn't realize Watson was actually shorter than the model and the character. They actually do have a height difference. So Watson's a little shorter than Sherlock Holmes. Now, we don't know Watson's height, but Sherlock Holmes is known to be very tall. Tall and very thin, and hawk-like. His appearance, that is.
Look at these signs, Watson.
Okay. I'm just checking out all these...
Look at these signs, Watson.
He's going to keep saying the same thing over and over again.
Look at these signs, Watson.
Okay. Let's see where we're headed. Now, the last thing we did was... Let's check out the last... there it is. Notes. In Dutchfield Yard. Oh, okay. The murder of Liz Stride. I remember this. She was talking with... She was sitting there with somebody. Somebody noticed them talking together. They went down an alley. Then it was only a few minutes. Let's see. Here we have here. Some guy was walking by. One of the guys screamed out Lipsky, which is a sort of just a derogatory term for a Jewish person. And then the guy ran off, and it was later that a policeman came by and found them. Okay, found her, Elizabeth Stride. I very much remember this. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay. I want to talk about the body here. The place where Liz Stride was found dead is particularly muddy, thus if the victim was forced to the ground by her murderer, the bottom of her clothes would be covered in mud. There isn't any except at the contact points between the body and the ground. This woman and the killer were standing at the moment of the mortal blow. If he was taller or shorter, the blade's angle of penetration wouldn't have been as neat. The man knew where to strike and how to strike. He gave a sharp, violent, backhanded blow with his knife. Excuse me. The victim collapsed and her blood drained out. Recent traumas were noticed on the shoulders. They were certainly due to the attack that this woman was subject to, in which Schwartz witnessed. Schwartz must be the guy. The right hand is covered slightly with blood, as well as the wrist. She put this hand up to her throat just after being injured and then collapsed. Very little blood. The knife blow didn't completely slice through the carotid. carotid artery. The wound made by a fine, sharp blade didn't open completely till after the body settled to the ground, which is why there wasn't a big splatter against the wall at the victim's neck height, even though the blow was struck while she was standing. The left hand is closed around a sack of pastilles. There are two options. The first is that Liz Stride's killer and her attacker seem like Schwartz are one and the same. The two people know each other and are arguing about something or other. The man loses his composure, gets out his knife, and kills Liz Stride. He then flees with his accomplice from the end of the road, and his crime is attributed to Jack the Ripper. The second is that Liz Stride meets a client. After a discussion, they head towards Dutfield's yard to get it over with. They have barely entered when the attacker appears, while his partner keeps an eye out. Attacks on prostitutes before, during, and after their tricks by groups of thugs happen dozens of times per week in the area. These men extort and menace them, Leather Apron being a perfect example. These attacks are also the acts of pimps and or companions, which could be the case here. In short, the man assaults her, but the arrival of Schwartz dissuades the two men from staying. They leave the area not without one last threat and leaves Liz Stride on the ground, but certainly happy to have kept her client. I doubt that this one intervened to put an end to the altercation. Nevertheless, business resumes, but Liz's client proves to be even more dangerous than the man who beat her. He will be our murderer. Okay. The two hypotheses are possible, but an incongruous detail will confirm one. The incongruous detail that we were able to observe at the Hanbury Street murder. Okay, how long does this go on for? Okay, alright. The sack of pastilles. If this woman had to defend herself against an attacker, why would she have this sack in her hand? And if she had it before the attack, she would certainly have dropped it while defending herself. The only explanation concerning the presence of the pastilles is that they were in the victim's hand when the fatal blow was struck by surprise. They didn't fall because this woman's hand tensed as she fell to the ground. It's a known reflex when we sense losing consciousness when the object in hand. I do not think that these pastilles were precious, but in the moment, letting them fall in the mud signified their loss. Thus we know that our Whitechapel killer distracted his victim's attention by making them get something from their pockets. Why didn't he strangle her like the others? This Liz defended herself for a few instants against a strong attacker. He must have feared a struggle against this gutsy woman. Furthermore, she was taller and sturdier than the other victims. This might have affected the killer's attitude. Why didn't he disembowel her? Louis Darmschultz arrived at the moment he was about to begin his work. Oh, okay. That was another guy. I think, wasn't he a cop, I think? Oh, no. He was a guy walking by, yeah. The Whitechapel killer is definitely behind this killing, and this murderer, attributed to its rightful author, will take on an even greater significance than when we will have examined the facts arising that night. The next step in our reenactment is find out Mitre Square, where Catherine Eddowes died 40 minutes later. Yes, that's right, because he ran on. He went on, and it was as though he was interrupted in his killing, so he went on to find Catherine Eddowes and killed her afterwards and continued at his work. That's Jack the Ripper did this. Okay, let's going this way. Maybe not. Not sure. Maybe.
Nothing of interest here.
Oh, okay. It won't let me go that far. Alright. Presumably we can't go that way. minute. Is it in this street? Or
I have no reason to go that way.
Okay, so it's in this street then.
Look at these signs, Watson. We are in the...
Yes. Can I open any of these doors? Anything in this bucket? No. That means it has to be here. Oh, okay.
There's the spot where the apron and the message were found by PC Long. Now, let's recreate the scene. Remember, Watson, it was raining that night. Find me something with which to mimic raindrops hitting this wall while I write something with my chalk.
The Jews are not the men that will be blamed for nothing. But what does it mean?
Okay.
Have you found something for us to pour water from, Watson?
Find a container and some water. Let me remind you that it's night time and the street is deserted, Holmes.
Okay, it wouldn't let me go. There's some water. Okay,
Water.
Need a bucket. Oh. Some rope.
That may come in handy. Who knows?
Okay. What we got here? Oh, I have to get up there, really. Okay, there's a bucket up on the windowsill there.
An old wooden pole. A merchant probably threw it out.
And is there any other? Okay, guess not. What's going on here? Oh, all right.
A watering can. That's what I need. But I can't reach it.
Oh, I have rope.
A watering can. That's what I need. But I can't reach it.
Okay. What, Oh, okay. Use the wooden pole. I forgot about that.
A watering
Can I just knock it down?
That's what I need. But I can't reach it. A watering can. That's what I need.
Yeah,
But I
okay.
can't
Can't use the... Okay. Let's figure something else out here. Is there anything else I could use? Or...
I have no reason to go that way.
Okay. Oh, there's something. What is it? Oh, no, that's the bucket. Okay. I can't... Oh, here we go.
That may come in handy. Who knows?
Of course it'll come in handy. It's a hook. It's a pole with a hook. Okay, here we go. Where is it? There we go.
A watering can. That's what I need. But I can't reach it.
Why? Seriously? Oh, maybe I have to put the... Oh, there we go. Okay. There we go. Large pole with a hook. Okay, got it. Have the watering can. Let's go to the water. And there we go. There's some water. Where is he? There we go.
Have you found something for us to pour water from, Watson?
Yes.
Yes, I have, Holmes.
What am I doing with it?
If this message were written by the killer, then it would have been lying in this entrance for up to 35 minutes before being discovered. Let's find out in what state it must have been. This message could not have withstood an entire night in the rain. During the investigations carried out on the night of the double murder, PC Hulse inspected the entrances of this street around 2:20 a.m. and confirmed to have seen nothing out of the ordinary. At 2:55 a.m., 35 minutes later, PC Long found Catherine Edow's piece of apron and the message in chalk. This message would not have withstood a whole night in the rain, as had I continued to water it for a little longer, I would certainly have erased it. It was written, therefore, at the moment when the piece of apron was dumped. This substantiates PC Hulse's statement, which stated he had seen neither of these during his rounds. After its discovery, it was guarded and protected from the rain, which was subsiding, which explains why it was still legible when it was erased at 5:30. My dear Watson, when you met P.C. Smith on his rounds in the street, where was he? On the pavement or in the middle of the road?
In the middle of the road, Holmes, without a shadow of a doubt.
Good. You will go down the street with your lantern as if you were a policeman on patrol, using Smith's position as a guide. As soon as you see the entrance where I used the watering can, tell me if you see anything.
Okay.
I have no reason to go that way.
Walking. You okay? Frankly, I didn't see anything, but, okay. I don't think I would have noticed with the lantern or not. It's a little too dark. But maybe in-game he can't see, so...
I have no reason to go that way.
Let's go walk back. Alright, let's get a move on here.
I have no reason to go that way.
Okay.
No, you aren't in the right spot with the lamp, Watson.
Okay.
I have no reason to go that way.
Alright, well, I'm walking up and down the street here. Nothing's going on, so... we walk back. Okay.
I have no reason to go that way.
I don't see a thing, to be honest.
No, you aren't in the right spot with the lamp, Watson.
You okay?
No, you aren't in the right spot with the lamp, Watson.
Okay. Where am I supposed to be here? Okay, he wants me to stand somewhere specifically. But,
There, Holmes. From here, I can see something written.
Can you read it?
No.
Do you see the white rag, Watson?
I see something on the ground, but I'm not sure if it's what you were talking about.
P.C. Long, who found the piece of apron, was examining the interior of the entrances, and yet nobody would have predicted that this piece of material would be discovered on the very night of the murder by a policeman on patrol.
What are you trying to get at, Holmes?
Let's look at this message on the wall, Watson. The Jews are not the men that will be blamed for nothing. In other words, the Jews were possibly blamed for nothing, but that will no longer be the case. Reading this message naturally begs one question. What would that be, Watson?
Why?
Indeed, Watson. Why? For what reason would one have the right to blame the Jews in the future? Remember, Lestrade was killed near a club for socialist Jews, Edaus not far from a synagogue and the Imperial Club, and finally, this piece of apron dropped here. This building is occupied by Jewish families. The killer really did go out of his way to incriminate the Jews living in the area.
It's a bit obvious, Holmes.
Yes, but with the rumours, Watson, the author of this message would have received a response to his strategy.
You are right, Holmes. So perhaps it's a good thing this message was erased.
Whoever took the decision to do this is a man of great wisdom and courage. Let's return to Baker Street, Watson. I have some pipes to smoke to help me think more clearly.
Let's go back to Baker Street. Home, sweet home.
Okay, I'll go back to Baker Street, I guess. Oh, one. Baker Street, October 9th, 1988.
I had nightmares all night, Holmes. As for you, I bet you didn't get a wink of sleep, did you? It's this chalk message business, isn't it?
Among other things.
And this lunatic is still running free. If only we knew what he looked like.
But we do know, Watson. We have a fairly accurate description.
I must have missed an episode of your adventures, Holmes. Not only have I heard you discredit the value of our eyewitnesses, but the few descriptions we do have don't seem to correspond.
An inaccurate account can regain its value if we can discover why and to what extent the truth must be rewritten. We've learned a great many things tonight, and I'm able to tell you what our man looks like.
Really?
Yes, and we're going to need a few things, Watson. Find me 3 mannequins, my worker's costume, my 3 full wigs, one of your worn garments, yes, that can be used for the workman's outfit, and one of your old suits. Oh, and my deer stalker, the one I never wear, but everyone seems to think I wear day and night.
Okay. To be sure to add that in there. It's almost rarely ever mentioned that he wears a deerstalker cap. It was only in the TV shows, I believe, the old TV shows. Not that. Oh, okay, there they are.
We shall place our mannequins here, Watson.
Okay.
I have no reason to go that way.
Trying to look for more clothes here. Oh, okay, now they'll let me through the door, really. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Anything in there? Nope. Here it is. Another mannequin. And what do we have here? A revolver.
A wig?
Earpiece.
This will come in handy.
Okay. I think that's everything. Right? Yep. There we go. 2 mannequins up. I guess we're going to reenact the way he looks. 3 mannequins. Anything else here I can grab? Oh, that's it, I guess. Okay.
So, as for one of the murders, we have no witnesses whatsoever. As for the 3 other, we have at least one person who claims to have seen the victims talking to a man a few minutes before their death. Do you remember whom these would be, Watson?
Actually, no, I don't remember. Okay, apply the height, the age, and the clothing to the mannequins, basing yourself on the 3 correct witnesses. Okay, wait a minute. Oh man. That's way back. Okay. Okay, woman is dead. Okay, no, doesn't say anything about her. Okay. Lost police bag. No. Okay, buying medicine. Wow, I'm going real far back. Okay, there's a reenactment for the first. Okay, I'm thinking, was it the first murder there's no witness? Yeah, I'm actually pretty sure. Okay, let's see here. Okay, the murder of Annie Chapman. Okay, Holmes's thoughts. Okay, here we are. Oh wow, they're gonna make me go through. Okay, you know what? I'll have to cut some of this out. Because I'm gonna have to go through and read all these, and it's gonna be sort of useless for me to sit here and read them all. If I'm gonna sit here and reading them in silence. I'm not gonna sit here and read them out loud, all of them. Okay. Alright, give me a second and I'll be right back. Ah, okay. Hello, I'm back. I had a bit of an adventure happen to me on the, as I was collecting all this stuff, as I was trying to figure it out, I mean. The game crashed, so I had to go back and do the entire thing over again. And I just got all the clothes again, and then I did it all. And I sat there figuring it out. And I started recording again, and it turns out that the recording went bad. The voice started stuttering, so, and the audio file went bad, so I had to do it all over again. I had to do it all over again. Luckily, I saved just before I got the clothes, so
as for one of the murders, we have no witnesses whatsoever. As for the three other, we have at least one person who claims to have seen the victims talking to a man a few minutes before their death. Do you remember whom these would be, Watson?
Yes, I do. I remember them. I totally remember them now. Okay. Okay, it was all based on the documents. I'm sorry, the dialogues here. The first one was, I think it was this one. Yeah, here he is. He describes him here. The man must have been 30 years old, about 5'7", light complexion, and a fair mustache. Wore a loose dark jacket, a gray cap, and a red scarf around his neck. Okay, so you use that as proof. Next one is Constable, who says, here he is. Even though I only saw him from behind, I would say that he was barely 30 years old, or even less. Say 28 or even less. 26 years old. And 5'8" at the very most. He had a small dark brown mustache and an olive complexion. Okay. And he was wearing dark clothes, cap, dark color. Same thing. The thing that took me forever was I thought all the proof would be in the dialogue, so I kept on reading through all the dialogue trying to figure out where it was working. And it's actually, I went back through finally through the documents. Where is it? There it is. The Testimony of E. Long. Now, I remembered this a little bit. I remember that it was real far back, put it that way. And here it is. Age at least 40 years, height a little taller than the woman with whom he was discussing, approximately 5 feet 3 inches tall. So.
Bravo, Watson. There are our 3 witnesses.
And that was that. Now you had to go back, all you have to do is follow their statements, what did they say? Now this guy said, somebody else said, the second witness said he was a 5'3". But started on 5'7". 30 years old, 5'7", light complexion and fair mustache. Okay. 5'7".
There is an error, Watson. Let's reread Abraham's testimony.
Now, if you read through it again, he says is,
Indeed, Watson, that's the right size for Abraham's mannequin. The account given by Mr. Solomonovich's friend is incorrect in at least one point. The first Joseph said that the man was at least 5 foot 7 inches tall. The second Joseph said he was 3 inches taller than the victim, whom we know was 5 feet tall, which would suggest a height of 5 foot 3 inches. Don't forget that it was this second Joseph who attracted his friend's attention towards the couple on the other side of the road. We can assume he got a very good look at them.
Okay, that's pretty much it. Age, he said about 30 years old. Light complexion, so you put a blonde wig on him. And a gray cap. Loose-fitting clothes.
There we are. Magnificent.
Now, it was easy to figure out the jacket. When I put the right jacket on, he says, bravo. So, that's it. This guy said 26, 5'8". Okay. Dark hair, black suit, and a dark cap.
Excellent. Now, on to the next step.
And the last one, Testament of Elon, is at 40 years old, 5'3", brown hair, like a hat, dark coat. A doubt on this point. General appearance of the working class. Okay. Dark hair, like a cap, 5'3".
As for young PCs...
Oh, what? Stop. I would want to hear that. Oh, okay, alright. Oh, he said 40 years old or so. And...
there we are. Magnificent.
There we go. Now, it took forever for me to read that. Read all that stuff. And I was trying to figure out for the longest time because it screwed me up with this testimony. I didn't think I had to go outside the dialogues. So I was reading and reading and reading, trying to figure it out. I was like, you know what, maybe it's in the notes or something. I started looking in the notes and stuff like that. I noticed it still said, use this as a proof. And I was like, oh, wow. So they expect me to go through all this stuff? Luckily, I remembered this E-Long thing pretty quickly. When I was in the documents, one of the tricks was to, except for this one, dialogue I went through was, I just was sort of skimming down, and I just looked for anything that had inches on it, like 5'7", like I could see in the dialogue where anybody said height, because he said he's looking for the height. So I was looking for anywhere where a height thing came through in a dialogue. Unfortunately, the stupid E-long one doesn't. He just says, little taller than the one with whom he was discussing, approximately 5 feet 3 inches. It doesn't have a number 5, you know, with the foot symbol, and then 3 inches with a double symbol, you know, the inch symbol. But anyway, that's it. Now, hopefully this thing isn't skipping or anything. So, alright, that's it. We're done. That's it there.
Let's try to recreate the profile of the men seen by our 3 witnesses.
Okay, now I did this. And what do you want to do here?
Let's try to recreate the profile of the men seen by our 3 witnesses.
Alright, did I mess up? Okay, I guess I did. Oh, that's right.
Bravo, Watson. Our mannequins have been recreated based on the correct accounts. Now, Watson, let's see in what ways these statements differ and how the witnesses could have been mistaken. Let's look at these wigs and moustaches. Let's start by taking the first Joseph's testimony, who saw the man head-on in a well-lit spot and in which he noted fair hair. Now, let's consider the same person, but in the lighting and angle of the other 2 witnesses, in the darkness of night, with poor artificial lighting from above. Put out the light, Watson.
Okay. Here's something else that also messed me up. I assumed that he said put out the light, Watson, and I assumed I was running around the room because I assumed these lights were candle lights and they had to put out the lights. Until I realized there's a switch. It's electric. It's electric lights.
Lighting and a backlit subject can affect our perception of shades and colours. The wigs from Abraham's mannequin took on the same colour as the other 2. The 3 testimonies, therefore, don't contradict one another, and we can apply the same facial hair to all 3 mannequins. Turn on the light, Watson. Okay, Watson, let's give all of our mannequins the same hair.
Okay, we give them all blonde hair now. Now, this was just simply switch.
Yes, I have, Holmes.
Well done, Watson. With regards to the murderer's hair, the 3 witnesses should agree on Abraham's testimony. As Joseph is the only one who saw our man in full light, his hair must therefore be fair. You see, Watson, it is hard to draw objective conclusions when one is an eyewitness to an event. This leads us to reconsider the various statements regarding the supposed age of the man. Even if you are face to face with someone in full light and for a period of several hours, to what extent can you determine their exact age? And even more so if you observe them for only a few seconds and or from behind. We must allow some flexibility when considering our witnesses' statements, but always scientific flexibility.
Okay, true enough.
Now that we have fully considered the witness accounts, let's see to what extent they agree. If we apply the range of error for each of our dummies, we can deduce the age of our murderer as precisely as possible.
Okay, now this was the okay, this was I was trying to figure this out. I think this is what he's talking about, so... Okay, excuse me if you hear the bridge going off. That siren sound. That Silent Hill siren sound. And... Wait a minute, wait a minute, hold on. 34. Oh, okay, yep. Okay, I was trying to... Alright. I was messing up there. I was wondering why it wouldn't turn green. Oh, okay, that's easy enough. Alright. He wants the age from the 16 to 36, the 25 to 35 here. Just narrow down the ages. So this will be 17. And this will be 35. Okay, I knew I figured something out going on there. I was just looking at this when the game crashed on me. I was trying to figure out what was going on. With these numbers, I mean. Okay. 19 to 33. Long way.
There we are. Magnificent.
Okay. Can't hold the button down. You have to press them. 49, 48, 47. This will be 32 and 33.
There we are. Magnificent.
Yes, I have, Holmes.
Okay.
Now that we have fully considered the witness accounts, let's see to what extent they agree. If we apply the range of error for each of our dummies, we can deduce the age of our murderer as precisely as possible.
How many age of the murderer? It says... It's like 33? Or maybe... I'd say he's 33, really. No, maybe 35. Oh, okay, wait a minute. 34, 33. So that... So this would be what, 28? Say 30. Honestly, I'd say he was 30-ish. Tolerance of years. Okay, let's figure this out here. Honestly, he looks like 34, 35. It's the only numbers that will fit to everybody. Well, no, that's not true. 30 will fit. Well, actually, all these numbers will fit. Okay, what's he want here?
Perfect, Watson. Within a
33.
margin of 1 year, Watson, the age of our murderer is 33 years.
But the man described by Smith was dressed respectably, whereas the other two were poorly dressed.
Indeed, but Whitechapel's respectively could quite easily describe the Sunday bests that all lower-class men own. Now, let's place ourselves in the shoes of Liz Stride's killer. He has just slain his victim and sees Louis Diemschutz discover her body. Our killer is at great risk if he stays in the area. He therefore gets away from this spot. But he wants to kill again. However, he might have been spotted in the area before having committed the murder by a constable on his round, perhaps, who managed to get his description. What do you think the killer will do?
What will Jack the Ripper do after committing the first murder in Duffield's yard? And before committing the second in Minor Square, find an accomplice to...
No, Watson.
Look for another victim. Okay, no, I guess not. He'll flee.
No, that's not it.
And change and go look for another victim. What? No? By disguise?
No, that's not it.
Look for another victim? Throw his clothing in a sewer or trash bin and...
No, Watson.
Oh, really? After he commits a first murder and before committing the second, he would...
No, that's not it.
Throw his clothes in a sewer or a trash bin and head off to find another victim.
It's hard to believe, Watson. Someone from a lower social class wouldn't throw away his clothing like that.
So maybe... Okay. Are you disguised?
No, that's not it. No, Watson.
Flee.
No, that's not it. No, Watson. No, that's not it.
Oh, man. Okay. Find an accomplice to look for another victim, I guess.
No, that's not it.
So he wouldn't throw his clothes away because they're too expensive, but...
No, Watson.
Change and go look for another victim.
No, that's not it. No, Watson. No, that's not it. No, Watson.
Okay.
No, that's not it.
Go back home or to a safe location, change his clothes and leave again in search of another victim.
It's the only possible explanation, Watson. The man returned to the safety of his lodgings and then decided to go out again with new clothes and repeat his sinister nocturnal work. That's how the discrepancies between the witnesses with regards to clothing can be explained.
What a cold-blooded animal.
And what determination! Powerful motives are pushing this man. Thus, we can conclude that the respectable man with the package may very well have been seen by the two Josephs.
Even if it is just a mannequin, it's giving me goosebumps. But have we really made any progress, Holmes? I mean, there must be thousands of men in Whitechapel who match this description, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
You're right, Watson. We have worked on who, now let's work on where. We need a map of Whitechapel, and please also find me a pencil, 2 compasses, one of which can draw ellipses.
Okay. Well, I'm going to end this here. Because, frankly, I had enough of this. And I'm, like, frightened that this is not, this is skipping again. I want to check it and make sure it's okay. But, thank you for joining me on Bunnysays. And, we're going to take a break here. And we'll finish up and conclude what's going on in the next episode. So, please join me then. Thank you and goodbye for now.